What does it mean to be yourself? That question sounds simple until you actually try to answer it. Are you your thoughts, your habits, your career, your beliefs, or are those just things you've picked up along the way? Carl Jung didn't just ask this question. He dedicated his entire life to it. For Jung, the quest to discover the true self wasn't a luxury. It was a necessity. Because if you don't know who you truly are, then everything else, your goals, relationships, even your happiness, is built on unstable ground. Jung believed that most people don't live as themselves. They live as fragments, masks, echoes of what the world told them to be. This is where Jung introduced one of his most important ideas, the persona. The persona is the social face we wear in public. It's not fake, but it's not our full self either. Think of it like a filter. You wear a different one at work, with friends, at home. And over time, if you're not careful, you forget you're wearing a mask at all. Imagine growing up being told, "Be nice, don't cry, don't make a scene." You learn to suppress parts of yourself just to be accepted. That's how the persona is formed. Not through choice, but through adaptation. And here's the danger. When you start to believe that this mask is who you are, you become disconnected from your essence. You become what Jung called divided, outwardly successful, maybe even admired, but inwardly hollow. The first step toward finding your true self, you must realize that the person you present to the world may not be the person you truly are. Jung famously said, "Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakes." It's easy to seek answers outside of ourselves. We look to books, gurus, social media, success stories. But Jung's message was different. He invited us to turn inward, to look into the depths of our own mind, even when it's uncomfortable. But let's be honest, most people avoid introspection because it's not always pleasant. When you sit with yourself without distractions, you begin to hear things you've silenced for years: insecurities, regrets, longings, fears. You begin to notice the parts of you that don't match the life you're living. That's not weakness. That's the beginning of awakening. The truth is, the journey to the true self starts with discomfort. It starts by admitting that maybe you've been living someone else's life, following a script you didn't write, chasing dreams that were never truly yours. And this honesty, this raw confrontation with your inner world, is the first real sign that you're waking up. Now we enter the part of the journey that most people fear. Jung called it the shadow, the part of us we repress, deny, and hide. The shadow includes everything you've labeled as not me: your anger, your envy, your selfishness, your sexuality, your shame. But it's not just negative emotions. It can also include your ambition, your wildness, your creativity, anything you were taught to suppress. Here's the twist. The more you suppress the shadow, the more it controls you, without you even realizing it. That's why some people sabotage themselves, why they lash out, why they repeat painful patterns. To find your true self, you must do what most people avoid. You must face your shadow. This doesn't mean acting on every dark impulse. It means recognizing that these parts of you exist and that they have something to teach you. Maybe your suppressed anger is showing you where you've allowed yourself to be mistreated. Maybe your envy is showing you what you truly desire but are afraid to admit. Integration means this. You stop running from your darkness and you begin learning from it. But what does it really mean to find yourself? It's not about suddenly waking up one day and realizing who you are. Jung made it clear. The true self is not found. It's built, slowly, deliberately, through fire and contradiction, through self-confrontation. We live most of our lives wearing masks. The mask you wear to fit in at work. The one you use to be likable, to avoid conflict, to gain approval. Jung called this mask the persona. It's not fake. It's just incomplete. It's a small fraction of who you are. And behind it, there's a storm, a jungle of everything you've hidden, denied, suppressed. Your fears, your desires, your anger, your shame. Jung called this the shadow. And here's the truth. Until you face your shadow, it will control you from the dark. You want to find your true self? Then you need to start with the parts of you that you don't want to see. The uncomfortable truths, the raw parts, the chaos you've tried to sweep under the rug, because your wholeness is hiding inside your contradictions. And Jung was blunt about this. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. He meant that you will not reach authenticity by pretending to be perfect. You will only become real when you dare to look inward and face what you fear the most. Ask yourself, when was the last time you allowed yourself to feel anger without guilt? When was the last time you admitted you're afraid? That you want something deeply but are terrified of going after it? That fear is your compass. You see, every time you feel resistance, that's a message. Resistance is a sign that you're brushing up against the edge of who you think you are and touching the boundary of who you really are. The true self is not neat. It's not polished. It's not even always likable. But it is powerful. It is real. And it wants to emerge. And here's where the journey takes a painful turn. To find your true self, you must let go of the person you've been pretending to be. The version of you that exists only to meet expectations. That's terrifying. Because who are you if you strip away the labels? Not a job title, not a role in someone's life, not the number of followers or achievements or trophies. Just you. And that's when something changes. You stop performing. You stop proving. You start listening, deeply, to the quiet voice inside you that's been whispering truths for years. Truths you were too busy or too afraid to hear. Jung believed the self is like a seed. You already carry it inside you. But if you never water it, it won't grow. That growth is what Jung called individuation. It's not self-improvement. It's not about becoming better. It's about becoming whole. Every dream you've had, every conflict, every emotional wound, every shadow you avoid. These are invitations to meet yourself. And let's talk about dreams, because Jung didn't see them as random nonsense. He believed dreams were the language of the unconscious. Symbols, messages, not literal, but emotional. If your conscious mind is the tip of the iceberg, then dreams come from the depths below. Start paying attention to them. There's wisdom there. Now, what happens when you follow this path? When you allow the shadow in and listen to your dreams and start to peel away the persona? You begin to feel different. Not because life gets easier, but because you're not pretending anymore. You begin to speak more honestly. You start to say no when you mean no, and yes when you mean yes. You start showing up as yourself, not as who you think you're supposed to be. And that's when something remarkable happens. You start to feel alive. Not comfortable, not certain, but alive. And Jung warned, this is not a path for the faint-hearted. Most people will never take it, because it demands a kind of courage most are unwilling to give. The courage to sit alone with your own mind and ask, who am I, really? It's lonely sometimes. It shakes the foundations of your beliefs. It breaks illusions. You'll lose people. You'll shed identities. You'll question everything. But on the other side of that is truth, the real you. And no one can take that from you. So if you're still listening, maybe you're already on the path. Maybe something inside you is stirring. That quiet urge to stop running and start returning. Returning to the part of you that was never conditioned, never wounded, never lost, just buried. This is not the end. This is the beginning, the real beginning. And it will take time, years, a lifetime. But that's okay. Because becoming your true self, that's the most important work you'll ever do.